Well, good morning YouTube. It is I, Danielle, better known as Danielle, the Happy Medium. And in this particular video or topic, and off the back of a conversation I had with a Buddha medium in the South, I'm going to talk about guidance, too much knowledge, and if you really need all that knowledge, is a Buddha medium. I have been aware of many YouTube channels just like mine, many teachers just like me, all with their own unique individual way of teaching. I am yet to see any of it that is working for every medium out there, and what I am now seeing is a lot of Buddha mediums out there in the industry who are massively confused. The reason being, they've been going to workshops, they've been going to see different teachers, they've been watching any amount of YouTube channel information, all conflicting of each and every one of them. Why is this? Because if we were to put 10 mediums all in a row and ask them all to speak about the spirit world, each and every one of them would give you a different concept. Why is this? Because every medium is different. Every human is individual. Everybody sees it from a different perspective. And I am no different. I, as a medium, from the very offset, chose against going to workshops, residential courses, or whatever it may be there. Why? Because that was just the way that I felt was best for me. A lot of people will take the route of workshops, going to different seminars, different residential courses, and will gain what I call hints and tips. But ultimately it will not change their mediumship. Why is it? Because really it is your mediumship. Every one of them 10 mediums that of all I've just spoke about there will all have been trained in a different way because they've all been trained by a different teacher. Again, all with different knowledge and all with different skill sets. No one is any right, nor is anyone wrong. It's just that they have learned and taken their skill set from other mediums or other people. What I have been seeing less and less in the movement of, and what I continuously practice and preach, is the less and less use of the spirit world and more use of the human world with connections to linking to the spirit world or for guidance. What I would recommend and what I would give you as do's and don'ts in the industry is you need to remember that first, you are an individual. Your mediumship is ultimately your mediumship. It will never be my mediumship, and while if you were trained with me, your mediumship will never be anything like my mediumship because it is mine. It's unique to me. My people are unique to me. My people were given to me from the spirit world because that's who they felt was important for me to move forward. I personally would recommend that if you are one of these people who are watching multiple mediums, this is including for readings or for training or for pushing your mediumship forward, try to stop that. Pick 2 or 3 that is best for you, bin the rest. Why? Because what will happen is you will get what I call knowledge overload, and you will be so confused, so conflicted, you won't know what's right, what's wrong, or what's indifferent. The reason or how to stop that is to learn to take your mediumship to the spirit world and sit with your guides and listen to what your guides have to say. Why? Because they're your best teachers. They know you better than anybody. The spirit world knows humans far better than we will ever know ourselves, because the spirit world, and if we use the intelligence of the spirit world, the intelligence of the spirit world knows what is best for you and how it is that you can move forward. Humans, while do have skill sets and do have hints and tips, and I'm one of them mediums I train, as a lot of you will know here on the YouTube channel. I'm sitting talking to you right now, which is giving you my knowledge. But what I will always do as a teacher is train my students or anybody here on the YouTube channel to be an individual, to be your own authentic self with your mediumship. I can give you hints and tips, which I do, and I try very hard to get that over to you, but I will never want to take away your individuality. I will never want to change you as a medium. I would rather embrace that and tell you to get yourself to the spirit world and sit with your team and pick 2 or 3 decent mediums or people who you feel is important for you or that is on your wavelength. Why is this? Ultimately because them people you're probably going to gain the most from. Going to different people, getting different knowledge and trying to push that into your mediumship, while will work for the short term, eventually, long term, will either need to be taken out or will have to be altered or changed because it doesn't fit your mediumship. Best thing to do is embrace your mediumship. Go to the spirit world, sit for your guides, listen to what they've got to say, ask them for the help, ask them for where it is that they feel you need to be. Because they know you better than anybody and they will give you the best knowledge and best guidance. I'll tell you a story. As you all know, last year I started to move across the pond or across the broad work. And I found within the movement many doors that were shut on me because I didn't have credentials, as I call them. Credentials was having, diplomas, didn't have certain registered sort of certificates, these types of things. And I'm very much of the belief of when you work for the spirit world, you are a worker for the spirit world. There isn't any better nor worse. You are no better if you have the credentials, if you have an ugly personality to go with it. You are no better than the ugly personality, even if you don't have the credentials either. What I'm trying to get over to you here is that we've getting so caught up in credentials and so caught up in people who have X, Y, and Z, yet we've forgotten so fundamentally just to listen to ourselves. And what happens is you become a sheep instead of a leader. And I know a lot of people will probably frown upon that when I say that, but it's true. I always speak the truth. I'll always want to speak the truth to you because I so want you to be your own individuality self as a medium. We get so caught up in what Joe Bloggs is saying that you've forgotten what your guides have said because these people here are irrelevant because you would rather listen to the masses instead of being your own standout self and learning to work your mediumship for yourself. You can go with the mechanic style. Again, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's structure. Why do you want to put structure in? Well, the spirit world's free. We don't need structure in order to connect to the spirit world. It's there. It's just that you don't trust yourself enough in order to move that forward. We don't see enough practice. We don't see enough sitting. I've spoke about this quite a lot here on the YouTube channel. Some of your biggest pioneers, which is Estelle Roberts, Gordon Higgins, Helen Duncan. There was no such thing as workshops. There was no things as residential courses. So what did they do? They sat for their teams. They would be disciplined themselves through the spirit world. Yet so many of us want an easy fix route to mediumship. And unfortunately, there isn't an easy fix route to mediumship. Your mediumship is yours. It does not belong to me or anybody else for that matter. And you need to get very wise with this right from the offset. You need to understand that if you want that mediumship to move forward, you need to pick 2 or 3 mediums that you watch, either via YouTube, Facebook, whatever it may be. Dump the rest. Pick who resonates with you. Not because they've got credentials. I see some of the best fledglings. I'll tell you a story. I was on a residential course last year. It was alright, you know what I mean? I took bits and pieces for it. I wouldn't say it was bad, nor it was any good. It was average. It was okay. I didn't think anything badly of it. But I seen a girl in there who never given, a gentleman actually, wasn't a girl, it was a gentleman who gave a message to the tutor. And yet that man had never given a message to the spirit world, yet the information was valid, true and correct. What does that tell you? It tells you that his mind was free. He didn't have any structure in there or mechanics in there. He just trusted in what he got and he gave it. And that's what I promote each and every day here on the channel. To learn to trust what you get and give. I see we are so caught up in evidence, and I was talking about evidence quite a lot. And I am a great believer and we need evidence and we need that survival. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that. But we are so caught up in being so structured with the evidence that we've forgotten that the bedroom in which that our mom, our dad, or whoever it is that went to the spirit world through their passing, that moment is so tender. Yet we are not allowed to give people in beds because most people die in a bed. Yeah, that's true, and I don't dispute that. But what you could talk about is the things that went on prior to that and how lovely that was and how touching it is. And is that evidence? Of course it is, because that evidence is strictly between you and the loved one that was in that bed before they took their passing to the spirit world. And if you can invoke the feeling in with it of what went on within that room at that time, then you are already on to a winner, where I call evidence. We are so caught up in trying to be so much better than what we are, yet we've forgotten that we are already good enough with the evidence in which that we have. And as we move further down the path, that evidence will increase and get better. The only problem is people's too busy telling you it's not good enough, or people's telling you you're not good enough, or people's telling you that this isn't right, that's not right. And then fundamentally you are so confused because you are listening to so many different mediums, when really the only person you should be listening to is yourself in your mediumship and your guides, because they are your best teachers. As I say, the pioneers, that's all they did. So why is it that it worked 80 years ago but it doesn't work now? Why? Because the humans got too involved. We got too involved. We are structuring everything that goes on, because the human mind and the ego likes to structure, and it likes to be in control, instead of just embracing your mediumship and trusting in it and trusting in the people. And when you learn to trust in you, you trust in your people, you trust in your mediumship. And when you trust in your mediumship, you trust in everything and anything that you get. And that makes for a good medium. So I've been Danielle, better known as Danielle, a happy medium. For those who are in this place, and I'm finding a lot of views at the moment, especially with the conversation that I had last night with this particular lady in question, which thank you very much for your information, and thank you very much for your concerns. I really did sort of spark my mind there. You need to get into this habit of yous out there who are mediums, or those who are on these public platforms, or those who are out there doing settings. Learn to be your own unique self, and this goes for the general public as well. Learn to be you. Learn to be what you are meant to be. Learn to listen to yourself, your guides, and your people, and they will never let you down. Why? Because the spirit world never lets anybody down. Not if you're working for the spirit world, they won't. The loved ones don't even let their loved ones down here down. Learn to trust in that. Learn to believe in that. You know, do workshops if it's for you. Do them. There's nothing wrong with them. I don't dispute them. I do them myself. But remember, they're not going to change your mediumship. All they're going to do is give you hints and tips. That's all they can do. Your mediumship comes from hard graft, sitting and learning to work with your guides, and getting out there and practicing till you can't practice anymore, so you're that tired that your eyelids hurt, because that's what I did. I am living proof that you don't need structure, you don't need workshops, residential courses, or anything else, if you truly believe in your mediumship, in you, and in your guides, and that they will never ever let you down. Hopefully I'll see you all again soon.